Yashodanandanam Praja Janardana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Yashodanandana Praja Janardana Yamuna Tera Vanachari Yamuna Tera Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vraja Janardana Yashodanandana Vraja Janardana Yamuna Tera Vanachari Yamuna Tera Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Sri Radhe Jaya Radha Gopinata Radha Gopinata Sri Radhe Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Sri Radhe Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Sri Radhe Jaya Lalita Visakha Lalita Visakha Lalita Visakha Visaka Jaya Lalita Visaka Jaya Kṛṣṇa Balaram Kṛṣṇa Balaram Kṛṣṇa Balaram Jaya Kṛṣṇa Balaram Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Sitanath Premanande. Thank you. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shivadi Gopal Krishna Goswami Tamini Prabhupada Shra Sahityam Yapakasha Vitircha Pacharangirvan Sadhagat Padayam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Inamine Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyabadi Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyanan Gyana Shalakaya Chakshurun Vilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurabhe Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadhamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahitam Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Kṛṣṇa Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakan Vitamscha He Kṛṣṇa Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Visabhanu Sate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So now we continue reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is. We're asked to speak two slokas, 35 and 36. I believe, yes? Let's take it again. Yes. Chapter 2, contents of the Gita summarized. We're looking on text 35 and 36 this evening. Please repeat after me. Bhayad Ranad Uparatam Mamshante Tvam Maharata Yesam Cha Tvam Bahūmato Buddha Yashyashi Laghavam Bhayadranad Uparatam Mamshante Tvad Maharata Yesam Cham Tvam Bahūmato Buddha Yashyasi Laghavam Bhayadranaduparatam Mamshante Tvam Maharata Yesam Chatvam Bahamato Buddha Yashyasi Laghavam. Somebody else? Matajis, any more? Yes? Okay. Word for word meaning? Bhayat. Out of fear. Ranat. From the battlefield. Uparatam. Ceased. Mamshante. They will consider. Tvam. You. Maharata. The great generals. Yesam. For whom? Cha. Also. Tvam. You. Bahūmataha. In great estimation. Buddha. Having been. Yashi. you will go. Laghavam, decreased in value. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The great generals who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear only, and thus they will consider you insignificant. Purport. Lord Kṛṣṇa continued to give his verdict to Arjuna. Quote, "Do not think that the great generals like Duryodhana, Karna, and other contemporaries will think that you have left the battlefield out of compassion for your brothers and grandfather. They will think that you have left out of fear for your life, and thus their high estimation of your personality will go to hell." Unquote. Next text. Because this is together. Actually, there are 4 verses, they're all together. 34, 35, 36, and 37. It's talking about Arjuna doesn't want to fight and would like to relinquish his duty. He would like to say, awol, absent without leave. There's a saying like that in the army. You ever heard of that before? Absent without leave. That means if you don't have a leave, you should be present. You have to ask permission to leave. So here, he wants to run away. Okay, we'll read also 36 because that's part of it. Avācya-vādāṁś bahūn. Avācya-vādāṁś bahūn. Vadiṣyanti tavāhitāḥ. Nindantas tava sāmarthyam. Tato duḥkha-taraṁ nukim. Okay, word for word meaning. Avācya, unkind. Vādān, fabricated words. Cha, also. Bahūn, many. Vadiṣyanti, will say. Tava, your. Ahitāḥ, enemies. Nindantaḥ, while vilifying. Tava, your. Sāmarthyam, ability. Tataḥ, than that. Duḥkha-taram, more painful. No, of course. Kim, what is there? Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you? Purport. Lord Kṛṣṇa was astonished in the beginning at Arjuna's uncalled-for plea for compassion, and he described his compassion as befitting the non-Āryans. Now, in so many words, he has proved his statements against Arjuna's so-called compassion. So who are the great generals here? There are many Maharatis here. These generals says that they can fight with thousands and thousands of soldiers, enemies, Maharatis. They're very, very powerful. And in those days, the generals or the in charge, they are in the front. If there's a battle, they'll be the one who's in command. Everyone follows what they say. Nowadays, they're not there. Only the soldiers are in front and the generals are in the back, in the bomb shelter. They will just make a walkie-talkie or some telecommunications. It's okay, this is the plan, this is what you should do. That's not the way how the battle in Kurukshetra performed by these great, great personalities. And two names were mentioned here, Duryodhana and Karna. Actually, Karna is one of the brothers of the five Pandavas. Somehow or other, Queen Kunti doesn't want to be revealed that she begat a child from Surya, the sun god, because she wanted to see if this mantra works. But mantra is very powerful. It worked actually. She called upon Surya Dev, and therefore the child Karna. I have a book here. I just want to read about who is Karna. Prabhupada also mentioned this. I bought this long time ago. We were traveling, and usually in those days, not anymore, it's very difficult to find them. In the railway stations, you'll find bookstores. You still find them. Still? A little bit, right? Yeah, well, now we have a bookstore, ISKCON. And it's called Who is Who in the Mahabharata. Have you heard of this? No? You're from Bharat movie and you have not. Okay, Who is Who in the Mahabharata? This is from Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, from Mumbai. We're going to read about Karna. He has many names. Bashushena, Vaikatana, Vrisha. He was the son of Kunti by the sun deity and was born with an armor-like coating which shone like the sun and a pair of golden earrings. He was abandoned at birth by his unwed mother and put in a basket to float down the Ashwa river. At Champapuri, on the banks of the Ganga, he was found by a charioteer Adhirata and his wife Radha, who being childless were delighted to adopt this godlike child. The secret of this birth was known only to Kṛṣṇa, Vyas, and Bhishma. As time went by, Karna became adept in the use of various weapons, and he decided to acquire further skills in the art of warfare under the great Parashuram, who was known to be an arch enemy of all Kshatriyas. How many times Parashuram killed the Kshatriyas? 21? 21, right? 21 times. Therefore, pretending to be a Brahmana, he enrolled as Parashuram's pupil, and in due course became his favorite pupil and an archer of unrivaled excellence. Yeah, in those days, if you are Sudra, then you cannot attend this school or the Gurukul. You must be at least in a Satriya or Brahmana. Once, when Parashuram was resting with his head in the lap of Karna, a wild bee began to sting and bleed Karna's thigh with excruciating pain. To avoid disturbing his teacher, Karna bore this pain heroically and remained unmoved throughout this ordeal. When the warm blood of Karna woke him up, Parasuram realized that no Brahmana could bear such great pain, and that Karna had told him an untruth. He therefore cursed that at a very crucial moment in battle, Karna would be unable to recall the mantras and procedures for operating the lethal weapons in the use of which he had acquired such mastery. So it's a great fighter, Karna, especially also in bows and arrows. So out of compassion here, Arjuna would like to walk out. Like to walk out of the battle. His compassion, though, is not properly placed. There's a real compassion. Real compassion means to help one, to elevate oneself. And Lord Kṛṣṇa was telling Arjuna prior to this that if there is a fight and the other side got killed, they will go to heaven. You'll promote them. But if you don't fight, as a Satriya, you're not doing your, what you call, swadharma. Swadharma. That means your duty in Varnashram Dharma. One should be properly situated according to the gunas and qualities that they acquired, perform their duties even imperfectly, than doing others' duties perfectly. Then you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And as a Satriya, it is his opportunity, Arjuna, to show and have the principles of Dharma to be established. But no, Lord Kṛṣṇa is trying to argue that no, you should not go. This is not proper for you. Because he was saying that, what? Infamy is worse than death. You may be still alive, but because you've done something which is horrible, which is against the principles of Dharma, or against your swadharma, your duty, because you will be vilified. You will be the talk for everyone, and saying that, oh, he must have left out of fear. They will not consider that him walking away is that out of compassion, because I will not want to fight. I don't want to see anyone suffering. Losing one's glory, it says here, or fame, is not very good at all, especially for a Satriya. Usually in those days, if the king will go to a battle, and somehow or other, the king lost the battle. And then he went back home to the queen. The queen will say, no, I will not accept you. It's better you die in the battle than coming back, losing the battle. No. If you're going to lose, then you lose and have yourself be killed. If you come back, no way, I will not accept you. This is the proper etiquette in the Satriyas. It's better one be killed or killed. If you're going to win, then that is good. You can come back. But if you lose, no way. You cannot enter the palace. The queen will say like this. So, yes, from text 34 to text 37, talking about losing fame, and not only for now, you will be the talk of everyone for ages, not just in this time or what is happening during the battle, And Arjuna was saying, I can tolerate infamy if it will save my life. I don't mind. But then Kṛṣṇa says, this pain will be worse than death. This is how heavy it is. He wanted to save himself and he wanted to save others also. Because if he's going to be there, he's going to use his arrows, bow and arrows and everything. Clubs and swords. So it's better I go save my life and save others. It's okay. I don't mind. But his duty as a Satriya is that he has to do it. He cannot walk away. Walking away is worse than death because everyone will be talking about you. The generals like Duryodhana, he will laugh. He will laugh at you. Karna and other contemporaries, they will think that you have left the battlefield out of compassion. Yes, out of compassion, but misplaced compassion. Out of fear. So, yes, they will not think like that. At the same time, their high estimation of your personality will go to hell. This is how Lord Kṛṣṇa tried to convince Arjuna. No, you cannot do that. If we are going to be put into this kind of situation, I think we will do the same thing. Huh? More likely we will do the same thing. We cannot tolerate, just imagine fighting against your guru, fighting against your grandfather, fighting against your relatives. It's not so easy to digest this. And what is amazing in this battle is that during the daytime, they'll be fighting. And then when the sun sets, it's time to retire. They go back to their camps, and sometimes they'll be invited to have dinner with each other. Nowadays, is that happening like that? No. Nowadays is guerrilla warfare. You know what's guerrilla? They use they have snipers at night. Usually the Japanese during the World War II, the Japanese are very expert on this guerrilla warfare. In the Philippines, we were under the Japanese rule for some time also. And the guerrillas means the opposing elements, opposing of the others who are those who are making for the sake of saying that we're doing this for your protection or to protect others from your ruling, but on the other hand, they're the ones who taking advantage, usurping the land. So, no, this cannot be. It is not possible. You going out of fear for your life, they will think that, oh, yes, he's running away. So it'll be like a terrible mistake to do for Arjuna. The pain will be worse than death. You're alive, but actually you're as good as dead. Yeah, or worse than that and as good as that. Alive but no value. And this may happen if a person who is very, very he's not following the process. It's like even in Krishna consciousness, if one did some mistake, but Prabhupada will accept whatever abominable kind of sinful activities one may pursue after taking Krishna consciousness because of uncontrolled mind. one may fall prey unto the lap of the witch called Maya once again. But the devotees are very forgiving. This is one of the best qualities of Srila Prabhupada, a pure devotee. They are very forgiving. Forgiveness. It's like it is easier to ask forgiveness than to forgive. Right? Sometimes it's, okay, Prabhuji, all right, I'll apologize, but even with, not feeling inside. Huh? Yeah, just lip service. Say, oh, it's okay. It's like if there is sometimes devotees, they will fight some, let's say, for example, brahmacharis. There is misunderstanding, they don't understand each other, or miscommunication. So ultimately, to solve the problem, okay, you apologize with each other. And they will apologize. But if one of the brahmacharis inside, he really has some hatred against the other devotee, he will not forgive him. He will just, okay, I offer my obeisances, but within inside, so he's the one who will suffer a lot. The pain of not forgiving is heavier than the one who's trying to apologize or ask for forgiveness. And the devotee, though, is always forgiving. Anyone who offends the devotee, he doesn't take any offenses. It's like this morning we're hearing from the Srimad Bhagavatam, it's all right to be angry if others are being criticized, fellow devotees or the Supreme Lord. But for ourselves, he did not mention that. I was going to make that comment, but for ourselves, if someone criticizes us or blaspheme us or tell bad words against us, we should not be angry. But a neophyte devotee will do immediately, I'm going to get back to you. One day. You better watch out. He will not say it in front. But inside, he's thinking of finding ways, how can I make my revenge? One day, you're gonna get it. But a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord, or those who are mature devotees, they don't get affected. That's the meaning of mature. Maturity means even if you're young in age, but you have more realization, the understanding of the teachings from the Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, you can easily do this. You can forgive. Even before the devotee, the other devotee who criticize you or blaspheme you or hurt your feelings, even before he will ask forgiveness, the other devotee will have been forgiven him before, even before. Are we like that? Yes? Govind? Maybe. Usually when our ego is hurt, we carry this even amongst family members. Sometimes we carry this for a long time, even till our last breath. I know some like this. They're devotees, they're practicing devotees. The ego is very difficult to give up. It is the thickest of them all. We should be sarva upadhi. We should be free from designation. But we have designation. Our designation should be servant. Servant of the servant of the servant of the Supreme Lord. But then if we identify with a designation, material designation, that I am the body, I am such and such, I live in this place, in this village, in this town, in this city, in this country, I believe that I am belonging to this certain religion or certain caste or certain culture, then it's very difficult to get out of this. It says, Sarvapadi binirmuktam tatparatbena nirmalam risikena risikesha sevanam bhaktir uchate. We have to get free from all of this bodily designation. And Arjuna is in the bodily designation here. He's running away, may be taught by Duryodhana and Karna and other generals to be, he's running out of fear. He's not running out of fear, he's running only of a misplaced compassion. And therefore, he'll be infamous. It's not good for him. It's not good for anyone. It's better to be truthful. It's better to have others understand your position, real position. But he cannot. He cannot explain to them. He's a Satriya. A Satriya doesn't walk away. He can surrender. He can say, oh, I surrender. It's like, again, in those days, they will wave a white handkerchief, right? If you wave a white handkerchief, what's the meaning of that? You give up, you surrender. And usually when they surrender, what do? Two hands. I give up. See, I don't have guns, or I don't. Nothing. Have you seen a person who's surrendering? I surrender. Only one hand? No. Maybe this is cut off or hurt. But when you surrender, so when we surrender to Kṛṣṇa also, it's the same thing. How do you surrender? I'm helpless. I have nothing left except you. Please accept me. Please give me shelter unto your lotus feet. So when we offer our obeisances also, it's the same thing. It's like we were fully like surrender means touching the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. It's like a mudra. A mudra. And usually, because the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord is the most desirable object or place or shelter, and they put them into their hearts. It's like Haridas Thakur, his main wish, because he knew that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be winding up his pastimes. So he wanted it to be that he will leave his body first, because he cannot. It's too difficult for him. It's very painful to see the Lord leaving his body. And he knew that Lord also will be winding up his pastimes. Haridas Thakur is 35 years older than Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is the same thing. It is painful for the parents to see their child will die before them. No parents will want to see the children die. So they take care of them as much as possible. So his last wish is to see the Supreme Lord and will have the lotus feet be pressed upon his chest, the closest to the heart. And there's another one personality who's like this. Whom? Yes. He can choose the time. He can choose the place. He can choose the circumstance when he will leave his body. Bhishma Dev, right? He got that boon. Huh? Yes. He and his relationship with Lord is chivalry. Chivalry means fighting. Fighting. We mentioned this in the class the other day. Huh? So Haridas Thakur is like that also. And so here is not the same though. It's not the same. So when we surrender unto the Supreme Lord, Lord Kṛṣṇa fulfill the desire of his devotees in any circumstances, in any way possible. But here, Arjuna is wanted to, Kṛṣṇa doesn't want to fulfill that desire. Kṛṣṇa doesn't want, hey, okay, you want to walk away? No way. Come back. You have to face the consequence here. If you walk away, we will lose everything. You don't worry because all of them has been killed by me. They're already like practically dead. So you better take the credit. You better take the credit. The credit will be yours. Because in the Bhagavad Gita, the main hero is not Lord Kṛṣṇa, not Yudhishthira, not Bhishma Dev, not Karna, obviously not Duryodhana. Who is the main hero? Arjuna. Even though, yes, we should be like that also, like Arjuna. It may be according to our own whimsical mind. We want to give up the process because we may think that, oh, this process is very difficult. I'm feeling not making any advancement. I've been in the movement for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, and I don't feel like I'm making an inch of progress. I'm going nowhere. What to do? I think I should give it up. No, we should be willing to pay more. The sacrifice that we have to do is a big sacrifice for Arjuna here. It's not so easy to do, to put ourselves in his shoes, so to speak. It is not. For us, we will do the same thing as he's doing, and we may not be able to be convinced like the way Lord Kṛṣṇa was able to convince him. We may say, oh, sorry, Kṛṣṇa, no way. I'll see you later. No. Forget it. Forget it. But no. It's difficult also for, see, Lord Kṛṣṇa is testing Arjuna in many ways. In many ways. So here in the second contents of the Gita summarized, we can see the scenario of what's gonna happen. Arjuna says, I have considered the battle will destroy the family. People will think I'm compassionate. I'll keep fame. Yeah, he's thinking like this. If I go, people will think I'm compassionate, and the people will see that, yes, I am actually doing the proper thing, leaving the battle. Because if I leave the battle, then I will not destroy any family. There will be like what? Ahimsa, non-violence. But fighting is a real ahimsa here. We think that fighting is ahimsa, but not fighting is himsa. But the violence here is not the real material violence. Because the soul cannot be killed anyway. The violence here is to kill the demoniac mentalities of Duryodhana and the others who are on his side. Because you cannot, we've heard that the soul cannot be killed. It's eternal. It's everlasting. It doesn't die when the body dies. It goes on. It cannot be cut into pieces, cannot be burned by fire. It cannot be withered by the wind. So where is the violence here? If you kill them, they will go to heaven. This is what's going to happen to them. So Kṛṣṇa says, Maharati are Duryodhana and Karna. They think that you run away and out of fear of dying only. Usually, yes, that's the result. Then they'll, that means Duryodhana, will never think of compassion. And then in text 36, your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you? Of course, those who are in the bodily platform, then others may criticize us or say many things and will be hurt. It'll be painful. We mentioned this also earlier. Pen is mightier than the sword. It's like now in the internet, if you say something wrong, which is like very awkward, if you receive this message, it's painful, and you may not also speak with that other person for a long time. You will block him in your social media page. It's painful. But more painful than that actually is words. The words. You know, you hear something which is unacceptable. Even if it is untrue, you will still get pain. So, yes. Lord Kṛṣṇa was astonished in the beginning at Arjuna's uncalled-for plea for compassion. And this is not befitting a non-Aryan. This is befitting the non-Aryans. What is an Aryan? What is an Aryan? Huh?
Those who knows their religious value.
Yeah. Those who are followers of the Vedic culture or the Vedas, the scriptures, that means righteous people. That means those who understand the purpose of human form of life, those who doesn't waste this human form of life, those who are adherents in the instructions coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as mentioned in the Vedas. These are Aryans. They are the highest class of people in human society. Somehow or other, there is one infamous leader also who wanted to have this kind of race, but he used violence to attain it. Hitler, he wanted to have an Aryan race. He read the Bhagavad Gita, he read the Vedas, part of the Vedas. He had a department where they're all Sanskrit scholars. They're studying the Vedas. And they're giving informations to him how to attain this level of being an Aryan. They even read there about Vimanas. He wanted to create Vimana. You've heard that this spaceship that goes very fast. Vimana. You've heard of Vimana? This is the way how they travel. Pushpa Vimana. Pushpa means what? Flowers. Or what's his name? Kashyapa and Aditi. They have, yeah, they have airplane. That, huh? Devahuti, is it Devahuti? Devahuti, sorry, Devahuti and Kardamamuni. Kashyapa and Aditi is different. Yeah, Kardamamuni and Devahuti, they have an airplane that goes to different planetary systems. Is built like a city. Hmm. Yes. Yeah, so it cannot be misused. If you misuse the scriptures, then that is non-Aryan also. Proper use of the scriptures is to understand the conclusion, which is to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, yes, people will say that he is a eunuch. What's eunuch? E-U-N-I-C-H. Like he doesn't have any gender. Doesn't have any gender. It's like Arjuna also. He pretended to be eunuch on the 14th year. So that he in the heavenly, or he was like, he pretended he was like a teacher of dance or something. Dancing teacher. So, yes, given into these 4 verses about Arjuna trying to walk away and not being convinced to fight against his kinsmen. Okay, we stop here for now. Are there any questions or points? Yes, sir.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Ram.
Just like Arjuna, he was avoiding to fight,
Yes.
but Krishna convinced him.
Ultimately,
So we see there are many devotees who have left. So we can convince them to be back in Krishna consciousness.
convince them.
To be back in Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. Yeah. Many devotees, it's like Prabhupada says, in a war, there'll be some casualties. It's natural. So we have declared war against Maya. And many became captured by Maya, by the energy of the Supreme Lord, which is pervading all over the material creation. So when they somehow slipped, or in ISKCON lingo, we called it bloop. You know, where's the word came from? In ISKCON, you will hear this different lingo. Bloop. Bloop means like when you throw something into the water, and you will hear the word, you will hear the sound. Bloop. Okay? So, some of us who are not careful, who are not steady, who are very weak, because we're not focused, we're not so sincere, then they may fall away. As Prabhupada says also, be surprised, be surprised if they stay, but don't be surprised if they go in Krishna consciousness, because it's not so easy also. So be surprised if they stay, but don't be surprised if they go. But still, it is our duty to bring them back. Prabhupada is like the one that I gave this story this morning in the Bhagavatam class. Prabhupada still asking the disciple, please come, join us again. But he doesn't want. So it's still our duty. As much as possible, the duty of the devotees is to help each other. He's always willing to help. He's always praying for hope, just like the mood of Lord Kṛṣṇa. If Lord Kṛṣṇa doesn't have that mood that it's useless. I cannot help you anymore. I gave it up. I cannot do anything. No. We will give chance. We will give chance. Prabhupada says he will give one chance, second chance, third chance, fourth chance. And after that, maybe he will give another chance, but maybe not. Don't take advantage of this, Prabhupada says. Prabhupada says, I will come back for you if you fall away. And the disciple think that, oh, he will come back for me. Okay, so let me enjoy a little bit more. I know, Guru Maharaj, we had that discussion like this with Mother Parvati. Prabhupada says, I will come back. So if he says, I will come back, Mataji says, then he will come back. Then I says, or he will send one of his representatives. Prabhupada is not here anymore. Of course, Prabhupada is still here. But he's sending his representatives also. The present gurus or the gurus that will be in the future. Because guru is one. Ultimately, they all came from Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Kṛṣṇa. So the principle is one, to save everyone. And it doesn't matter how much we rebel, how much we rebel against the process, still hopeful, not until they became blasphemous. If they reject Prabhupada, if they reject the Guru, what the Guru can do? He may reject him, but still, if he comes back, it's open. The door is always open. This is the only institution in the world that the doors are always open, even though we locked it up at night time. Yes? Yeah, you know, we locked up the guest house gate and gate number 3 and gate number 2. But it is always open. And we're always ready to bring them back, This is the mood. Don't forget this mood of Srila Prabhupada. And the mood of Srila Prabhupada is the same mood as Lord Kṛṣṇa. It's always open. Okay? Thank you. Anything else? Govind, do you have a question? Give the microphone for Narendra Prabhu. It's on?
Yeah.
Huh? When you turn it on, don't turn it off. Keep it on.
Slide down and slide up. Slide down and slide up.
Okay, you can speak louder. I can repeat it. Prabhupada's compassion is unfathomable, unlimited. How many times you will forgive, the disciples ask.
Vaishnava never stop forgiving.
Vaishnava never stop forgiving. Yes, unlimited. It's the same with Lord Kṛṣṇa. But you see, this story that I gave this morning, when Prabhupada rejected this one disciple, actually it is his mercy. That part of it is not, it is not cruelty. It is actually mercy. The same thing for us being in the material world is Krishna's mercy. If we are we're not able to understand that actually it is my duty to reform myself, to understand that I cannot be happy. I was reading the other day that if one will not realize that there is no happiness in this world except Krishna consciousness, he will not make any advancement. I repeat, if one will not realize that he cannot be happy in this material world without Krishna consciousness, he will not make any advancement. Is that clear?
Yes.
So everything that happens to us, whether we see it in an external point of view, that there's a lot of suffering for me, it's a lot of painful inflicted by me, by others. Actually, all of them, it is Krishna's mercy. So that I will learn, that I will take, my only solace is that I will take shelter unto the lotus feet of my Guru Maharaj, the Vaishnavas, and ultimately Lord Krishna. It never ends, unlimited. Yes. Mercy of the Supreme Lord is unlimited, unending. Otherwise, there's no hope for all of us. If there's a limit, then what is the hope for us? Huh? Yes. Anything else? We stop here. Yes, sir.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, we spoke regarding the forgiveness.
Yeah.
The forgiveness is a quality of the devotees actually.
Yeah.
It's a divine quality.
Yeah.
So we must maintain that because without the forgiveness, our mind will not be fixed in the devotional service of Lord Krishna. We will remain thinking actually. So we must maintain this level of forgiveness.
Actually,
we should not involve in unnecessary arguments.
yeah. You see, the ones who doesn't forgive, they're the ones who's feeling the pain. It is more painful for them. As I'm the one who offends you, for example, and I ask for forgiveness, then my weight, the heaviness of my heart, I've done my duty. Of course, it would be nice if you forgive me also. Then I can fully be free from the reaction. But the one who will not be willing to forgive is very painful inside. He's feeling the most pain, disturbed, and not Krishna conscious. I read that in the class the other day, right? Prabhupada says a person who doesn't know how to forgive, he's not a Vaishnava. Because this is not Vaishnava quality, forgiveness. Or the one who has envy. And the meaning of that is that if you don't forgive, that means you have envy. You're envious of the other person. You're not forgiving. Okay?
Right, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes.
That means I am envious of you, therefore I will not forgive you. If he is humble and he accepts his fault, that I also made a mistake. Usually it's like that. The one you're asking for forgiveness, he says, "Oh, Prabhuji, I'm sorry. Actually, it is my fault." This genuine devotee is like this. He will say, "You're the one who offended the other devotee." But the other devotee whom you offended and you ask for forgiveness says, no, Prabhuji, no. Actually, it is my fault. So you please forgive me. Now it's the other way around. He's the one now who is asking for forgiveness. This is genuine humility. And he can feel it. Because you will not react like that if the way you react is because of the way how I conduct myself. If I'm conducting myself properly, you will not do what you have done. So actually the cause is me. Genuine devotee will think like this. Will not just think, will feel like this. It makes sense? Jai. So we stop here. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Arjuna ki jai. Lord Kṛṣṇa ki jai. Hari Hari. Hari Bo.
2 days before I met Dardamuni.
Huh?
I met Dardamuni.
Yeah?
2 days before I met Dardamuni.
Oh, yeah?
I asked him, how are you? He said, I'm okay.
Good.
We should invite him before he used to come and give class.
We should do it. We should do it again, but because last few times he did plans, so festival time, like
Sometimes he goes out of the way.
yeah, Prabhupada